and let's all win. You know what I'm talking about? What and who is the topic of discussion today? You know, there's so much to talk about, right? Every morning I rise with the sun. My nights are eventful. There's always some type of event happening every second of my living. Every second. When I was younger, I didn't realize it. But now that I'm where I'm at in my career, in my faith, and physically, I understand that everything coincides. Absolutely everything. The topic of discussion is and always will be evolution. Her story, my story, not history. Because her story is the accurate story. I see a lot of stuff, right? You know, and like I've stated before, right? When stuff comes on my table, desk, floor, it's for a reason. Now, some may argue and say, I didn't have much of a fall, and you are correct for this lifetime. But what happened in lives previous, you may beg to differ. The thing about being stressed out, right? Because we all experience some level of stress, whether if it's minute or great, grand, is it all boils down to being an ascended being. What y'all are going to start to realize is that I am 100% accurate at what I am saying. When you ascend, whether or not if you know it, whether or not if you believe it, when it is taking place, there's things that's happening with you physically, spiritually, and mentally. If you constantly own one, you're not going to notice. You have to be sound mind and body. You have to be sound. Some of you ascended in your sleep. You had all kind of signs, and then when you awoke, it was synchronicities playing out. Now that the average person can understand that you don't have to be a celebrity this lifetime, and that is very much due to what happened in a previous life. You ever seen a celebrity and say, wow, they look kind of like me? The reason why I say celebrities because those are the ones that are highlighted throughout all of the universes. You know what I'm talking about? Can you imagine that ET being famous? Let's think about that. Draconian, right? They are known as the Dracos, right? Some of y'all we see in eye level. The Greys. There's others. Predators. You know. These are the ones that we know that are famous because they're depicted in his story. When we start talking about the fraction of the underworld, we're talking about 13 Goes, the Red, you know. They're famous everywhere. Beelzebub. Y'all remember, you remember Beelzebub. Why, how do people, because these are beings. These are beings. They jumped off into the horror flicks, but they have always been thrillers. You know what I'm talking about? It's a difference. The topic of discussion. When you realize, right, that everything is copacetic with your mind state, that means you know you're not on one. And because you know you're not on one and you ain't been on one for a while, everything that you are hearing, seeing, remembering happened or is happening somewhere. So can nobody convince you? It takes a bold MOFO to say, I know that I am not on a key. Cray cray. You got to be bold with it, because if you're not, somebody's going to say something wrong with you. And then if you're real down, low, low, you're going to have wannabe friends and family that may not supposed to be family, saying things like, you need to go to an institution. You know what I'm talking about? When you're not brandishing and twerking all day, yeah, you're like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I know it's not me. You know how some people, play in your face. They'll be sitting there trying to talk to you in your mind and then looking at you, mouth not moving or nothing like that, And you be like, wait, I know I am not tripping. Some of y'all done had it up to here. Like, you could be 5'8", and you didn't had it up to 6 feet. You know what I'm talking about? Because it can't just be on YT. Because when I go outside, it's all kind of evidence that what Ether is saying is real. All kinds. What y'all do where you make a mistake is you don't say where you got this information from. When you start saying, I heard it from sassafras and whoop, 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 and they not intelligent enough and they are not any part of the underworld, you lose your rank. Somebody jump in front of you and you be sitting there like, man, come on. Let me tell you about ascension. I'm not going to talk about those that ascended before their time. You could catch that in the reading. Some of y'all so scared that I'm going to get out of poverty for the reason of doing what y'all did to all the greats. Taking my stuff, saying that you wrote it, you thought it, you are phenomenal. Look at my education. Fool. I'm more tied in than y'all think. But several types of industries, not just the entertainment industry. So when y'all start talking about mental wellness and all of that stuff, they gonna say, who did you hear that from? Because you ain't never been a part of the medical field. How do you, it's just not gonna make sense. I done already said that all elect ones, all of them, they all have abilities that surpass every other being, all of them, whether if they know they are elect ones or not. They have skills. They have knowledge. This reading that I am working on, some of y'all gonna say, it don't take 20 minutes, and at times it don't take 10 minutes, unless it's a jambalaya of stuff going on with several different groups. As y'all can see now, I'm making it simple and playing. This is happening to several different groups all at the same time because y'all be in y'all feelings. How she do this? How she do this? She must be one of the ones. No, that is not my fraction. I done already told you. That is for the greats. That's what they do. That's like saying, I'm gonna go and have this producer make my beat, right? And then ask him to write your lyrics like he do. You know what I'm talking about? You know? Like, where you fit in? Where you fit in an equation? Like, you don't even sound unique. Like, you sound average. My daughter sound better on the mic than you. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You know, before I move on, I had an epiphany, right? I had an epiphany. I was standing, just, standing. And somebody was leaning, he was all on that run. I'm like, look at this. I'm like, look. I'm like, stand up, stand up, stand up. It took me back 30 years. I said, he is not from here. This some TL stuff right here. Like, for real, like, you just leaning? I said, he got on his son clothes or is that him? Cause he young. Is he young but look old? Or is he old but wearing somebody else's clothes? You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you just be puzzled. Like, that's the stuff that be puzzling me. He leaning with it and rocking. And I said, Kenai, what makes somebody want to do Ron? Like, what's the enjoyment? Like, you leaning so far over, you just about to be laid out. If somebody push you, that's it. It's a wrap. I said, he must have just got out. Because he look all, skin all moisturized, you know what I'm saying? They do be taking care. That's one thing about the individuals that I seen growing up that was on the run. The older ones, they all, they always lotioned up their face and, you know what I'm saying? They was always clean and stuff, But with evolution, it might be switched around. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, I say to myself, if I ever see my son like that, I would just lose it. I would like lose it. Y'all would say either lost it. That's not the type of stuff I think that they would entertain. You know what I'm saying? That's some stuff you introduced to when you young, like an adolescent. Cause you got, like, but the response was they somewhere in their mind. That's the only, it could be, compounds are something, you don't know what you mix together makes something. Or you might be an ingredient away from something. You know what I'm talking about? I looked, I said, then I'm walking, and he said, whoa, 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 whoa. Somebody else. I said, what in the? I'm looking, I'm like, is he looking at me? Because I'm like, ain't no running up here. You know what I'm saying? I am about to, before they drop you to your knees, you about to get hot coffee all in your face. Because I am not for the play. You know what I'm talking about? I done been in some situations where I knew something was going to happen. And I just waited, knowing that it's going to happen. I ain't doing that no more. Nope. If I know it's going to happen, oh, we finna take it there. Male, female, dog. You know what I'm saying? Dog too. A dog can get it. Only thing I'm not finna battle is no vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Me and a vehicle is not finna battle. You know, it's all you. You got the right of way. You know what I'm saying? F what the LAW say. You know what I'm talking about? I like to get up and walk. Cause you start you realize that your bones, your bones, you need to move. Walking is a natural exercise. You don't have to run, run on a treadmill, lift 450-pound weights. You ever seen somebody lift a 450-pound weight but they can't walk down the street? You just strong for no reason. You're strong when you can't even walk. Lift weights and not no 450. The most I lifted was 100. You mess around and you don't got the right fluids circulating through your joints, you gonna sprain something. You know? And then all of a sudden you can't lift your arm for 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I wanted a toned body. I didn't want to be slim. You know? That's the topic of discussion, people. There will always be the topic of discussion. So you think. You good, right? You know you good. But this is for the future. This is we always working for the future. You know what I'm saying? Even if we just drop right then and there, we still working for the future. You know? We can't barely walk, breathe, eat, but it's still for the future. Whose future? Not yours. Because you out of there. You know what I'm talking about? You decide you're going to take another contract because you need the money. You decide you don't need to ascend because you